Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started here. Sorry for the delay. We're missing Rod right at the moment, but he should be here very shortly, we hope. In the meantime, I'd like to go over a few of the new things that have gone on with OTP and hybrid especially. The first thing that I'd like to talk about is that there's a new overlay redirect plugin. And we've had a few questions on that. Chet has been very good to create a video that is now displaying the exact way to use that plugin. It's much easier. Cliff's just reduced all the extra information that was on there that's not needed anymore. I guess one thing I should do is share my screen. Sorry about that, folks. Okay. Okay, let's hide that. There, now we should hopefully be able to see what's going on. Sorry about that. Okay, now we should all see my cPanel sitting there.
Yes.
Okay, getting back to hybrid and the new plugin. Last week we went through and you saw the original OTP overlay, and we had the two options to choose at the top, the redirect and the ability to set our overlay in full screen. So what we're going to have to do is replace the one we have. There really is no need to replace what you're doing, but it seems that some people are doing it. They're getting a little confused on exactly what the best process is. Because the plugin has exactly the same name, what we need to do is to get rid of the original one first. So in order to do that, we need to go to our plugins directory or tab, and we see the OTP overlay here. Before we can ever delete a plugin, we have to deactivate it and stop it from being used. So we click on that button, and now I can delete it. There we go. We no longer have the OTP overlay plugin on our website. So we go to hybrid, and in the tutorials tab, there's a big green button here. And when we click on that, it takes us to download our overlay. So we'll do that. Over here on Firefox is a little arrow, which will normally open up our folder, but it seems the webinar program going here, I may have it working a little bit too hard. Just go to my downloads directory here, so that we can see that we did, in fact, as a matter of fact, I've now downloaded it a couple of times, so we'll delete that. Don't need both. This is the new one here. All right, so now we're going to go back to our dashboard, and we need to add a new plugin. And we're going to upload it because we have it on our machine. Browse, and we go to our downloads, and we scroll down to the OTP overlay. We leave it in the zip format as we download it, and then we just go install now. It's installed. We activate the plugin. And there we are. We've got our plugin back again. So what we need to do is to come down to the settings. And now we can see that things have changed quite a bit. As a matter of fact, it's changed differently than I was expecting. There we go. Okay, there we go. So now we can just type in our plugin, or the URL to our HTML file. And in this case, it was http://lwdemo.xyz/loading.html. So that's the domain I was uploading. I set in hybrid. Actually, if we go back to hybrid, we can actually see what I had it set for. See, I made a mistake. There's actually a dash there. So if we just grab that and copy it and paste it in there. And we know that from hybrid as well, what our redirect file name is, which is this one here. So we put that in here with the .html on the end. Leave it to set to go to 0 seconds. Press save. Successfully saved, and we're done. So now all there is on the plugin is to just set your redirect URL, which points to your redirect.html file. Save it, and now your site's back functional again. So if you're going to replace it, which like I say, you don't really need to, but if you're going to replace it, you have to delete the old one first, then upload the new one, and change the settings so that your WordPress pages will now redirect. Any questions there? Not seeing anything come up. It must be pretty straight. I see somebody who's off for a beer run. All right. The other thing I wanted to go over, so we'll again go back to hybrid. If you haven't already, on the tutorials tab, there is a big red button now. And this is a getting started guide. And it is a great guide that Nath LaFleur has put together for us based on the suggestions that how most people would build a standard site. Do understand that you can have you can create a hybrid site that has only one campaign, but typically most people are doing like 6 to 8. You could do 20, you could do 50, you could do 1. So it's very flexible, but this gives you a good guideline as to what a typical site might look like, and give you a lot of tips and tricks around little problems that might occur to help you along the way. So besides all the rest of the great tutorial information that Cliff has provided us with here, the Getting Started Guide is a great thing to look at and get an idea of a bit of the structure of the site and so on as you would build it out. So any questions on the hybrid guide that's new in the latest edition? Thank you, Nav. Yes, thank you very much, Nav. It's a great addition. Okay, last but not least, if you haven't already been using it, there is a new version of hybrid, version 3.7. It came out just the other day, and we had a member who was using extremely long directory names and file names, and it was hitting the border of what was really allowed. And so most of us have never seen such a thing occur, but Cliff said, well, if one person hits it, another might, so I've got to fix it. And away he went and spent about 36 hours of sleepless time and got it all working, so that now, no matter how long your directory names, your campaign names, and your page, your titles will get, it will allow you to pretty well use any size you want now. So it really didn't make a lot of difference to most of us, but for a few people, it's going to make a huge difference. And it'll save all of us at one time or another if our titles get a little bit unwieldy. Any more questions there? Looks like you guys are quite quiet tonight. Are you hearing me? Besides, I see poor Bobby K can't hear me, but are the rest of you hearing me? Oh, good. Cindy's hearing me. Oh, she's learning. That's even better. Like to hear that, Cindy. Okay, yeah, okay. I thought maybe you'd all fallen asleep.
They are here.
Okay. Next on the agenda, Kim is going to talk a little bit about our keywords and titles. So I'll pass it over to her. Kim, and you are probably also going to want to let's get you up there, and if you want to share your screen, Kim.
Find the share. Here we go.
A little button on the left-hand side up near the top.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Nope.
Nope.
There's some little icons on the left-hand side.
Yeah. You see my mouse?
Nope. You gotta share your screen first. You haven't done that.
I did. Yeah.
Well,
I got the thing to stop sharing.
Okay. Well, I see nothing. Let's.
Sorry, guys. We'll get this figured out.
I am not seeing anything. Let me reduce that down. There we go.
Whoa.
All right. Now switch to something that you want to show us.
Okay. Oops. Oh, there we go. Goodness. I don't know how to make the infinity thing go away.
I'll put it on the screen in front of it. Or drop your browser out of the way.
Will it still work if I do that?
Oh, yeah.
You can see my screen?
Perfectly.
Ah, all right. Okay, we're going to talk about keywords versus titles. There's been a little bit of confusion about that, so we thought we would talk about it. And we want to remember to keep it really simple and don't overcomplicate it. Just like the rest of the OTP things, we don't want to overcomplicate it. And so what the 3 to 5 keywords, the box you have there, these are search terms. These are not going to be keywords that you're ranking for. And so their sole purpose is to get Google's loving content. And what Hybrid does is take the 3 to 5 keywords and it scrapes the top 20 websites for those keywords. So that's how we know that Google loves it, is because Google has put it in the top 20. And because they have ranked the content in the top 20 positions. So, and that's Google's doing. So that's what these keywords do. And I chose this anti-aging. So I would put these in my 3 to 5 keywords, and Hybrid's going to go out there and scrape the top 20 websites that are ranking for these keywords. And what Hybrid does after it scrapes this content, then that's what your articles are made out of for your posts and your pages. And so you want to choose the keywords that will bring you the best content. So you don't want to niche down too far, or you're not going to get enough content. You want to go a little bit broader, but you want to make sure it's closely related to your network's keywords, what you're going after. So that's why you don't want to be super specific, excuse me. And so what I did is I just took this to the keyword tool in LinkSwarm, and I put in anti-aging. And what I did is got this list of keywords. In about 5 seconds, I had 400 of them. So I hurried up and stopped it. And so when I looked on here, I saw cream, and I thought, well, that's a pretty broad term, but you can get real specific with it. So that's why I chose the anti-aging and anti-aging cream and anti-aging tips, because I figured that those 3 keywords was going to bring back quite a bit of content. And so I ran LinkSwarm again, and this time I used anti-aging cream. So this is where I'm niching down here with my keywords titles. So these are going to all be my titles. And you can see how there's a lot of terms that I would have never thought of. So, and each one of us, Rod, Doug, and I, all of us do our keyword research a little bit different. So it's not a, one size fits all. When you start doing this, you'll figure out the best way you like to do it and where you like to get your keywords and what works best for you. So you don't want to go after just one person's way of doing it. You need to figure out how you like to do it best. So does everybody see how I come up with the 3 to 5 keywords and then the ones for my title? I can't see the answer.
Yep, they're all saying yes.
Okay. And then what I also do is take the 3 to 5 keywords that I have over here, and I put them back in the list of the titles. So those will be part of my title as well. Now, I like Doug's analogy of the OTP strategy, that it's like the lottery. That if you buy 100 tickets, you have a much better chance of getting a return than if you buy 1. If you buy 300,000 tickets, you have a greater increase of odds of having that winning ticket. Your site may return no results, small results, or very good results, or hit the jackpot. The more the combinations of the titles and the content you have, the better chance you have of finding that winning ticket. So you need to find the right combination of keyword, content, and titles to create those winning pages. So that's why we want to get as many keywords as we can out there. And I think it all sums it up really good on what Jeff posted this today, and I'm going to quote his post. It says, "I remember what Cliff said at our Locust Ware event. someone told me not to bother with the low ranking keywords. They might only get 1 click a year. That's okay, because I've got a couple million pages with keywords just like that. So that translates into a couple million clicks to my site in 1 year, because I can handle that. So it's all about getting thousands and thousands of pages out there with even the smallest keyword to get people to go to your site.
It's a great point that Kim's pointing out right at the moment, because I've had a lot of people asking about filtering keywords out. There's a great little tool that I've used for a long time called Keyword Filter Pro, and it comes from a company called MarketGoal. And it's free, and it's really good at grouping lists of keywords together. So you can very quickly see things that absolutely have nothing to do with your topic. Those are the only ones I filter out. The rest, I keep them all. I don't go to this crazy nth degree of only getting the ones that have the best keyword searches and all this kind of, I'll use them all. That's what a mass marketer does. And as Cliff says in his little tutorial on hybrid about internet marketing, affiliate marketing, is that you don't really want to hammer a JVZoo page or a Warrior Plus page that way, because both those platforms right up in front of everybody are showing conversion rates and everything, and you could blow their conversion rates right out of the water. So that's when you want to be careful. But on a traditional affiliate page or any other traffic niche you're going after, just use anything and everything you can find that's related to your niche. Sorry, Kim.
Is there any questions on any of that?
Not seeing any. Mike's saying, so any combination of these keywords is good. Who's to say it's not good? That's the better question. Everybody likes to start quoting SEO. Well, just so that you know, SEO is all theory. There's no fact behind it. There's nothing to say that one thing is better than another. There is probability that some things are better than others, but every niche is different because the algorithm that Google uses is different for every niche. They don't apply the same algorithm to everything. So I think it's better to throw as much up against the wall as you possibly can, because you have no idea what the winner's going to be. And reusing keywords and titles, I see nothing wrong with it, because typically with the amount of content that those keywords are going to come back with, 3 to 5 keywords, you're going to have enough for tens and millions of pages just on those alone of unique pages. So I wouldn't have any problem reusing the same keywords and titles all over again. You can broaden your scope a little more by changing out a few of the keywords, but there is absolutely no fact that one thing is better than another. So as a mass marketer, because it's so easy just to do this, we just let it go ahead and do everything it can, because it's more difficult to sit there and filter it all out and only pick certain things.
Right. Yeah, when you get thousands of keywords, it's like, who wants to spend all that time going through all that?
The name of the tool, Kevin, was Keyword Grouper Pro, and it's by a company called MarketGoal. Thank you, Lulu. Lulu's posted the link to it.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Are you ready for your screen?
Okay. Yes, so let go of yours, and I guess I better come back and take mine again. here. Seeing as Rod was unable to make it here tonight, he was going to talk about add-on domains, and we were just going to do a quick little discussion. It seems to be quite confusing to everybody, mostly because in the past we've talked so often about putting things in your public _ HTML folder. Really, what you're doing is you want to put all these files and folders inside your root of the domain that you're using. And this is an odd concept, but a hosting account has a primary domain. That's the domain that you actually purchase your account with. You know how they always ask you for an account or a domain name when you're buying a new hosting account. That's your primary domain. An add-on domain is a little bit different, and because of the way they play their games in the background to allow you to have more than one website on a shared hosting account, the folder will show up with the name of the domain. So it'd be mydomain.com, and that will be a folder inside your public HTML. Now, I wasn't prepared to have one ready, so I've gone and found a quick website just to show you. They've gone into their cPanel file manager, and they're now going to their public HTML folder here, and they're double clicking on it so that they can now open up what's inside it. And you can see here your add-on domain.com. That is the add-on domain root. So you want to open up that folder, and that's where you'll put everything for an add-on domain. So you have to think in terms of putting it in the root of the domain. This is the root of an add-on domain. Public _ HTML is the root of the primary domain for the account. And that probably confused everybody, but hopefully not. Does anybody have any questions about that concept? Don't seem to. Okay, so once you open up this directory, it'll normally be blank. You'll have the CGI bin inside of it, and that's it. That is where you're going to upload all the contents out of the iComply folder, and then that's where you're going to upload the folder with your campaign name. Goes there, and it will also upload all your HTML files along with it. So an add-on domain is under root domain. I'm not quite following that one, Gary. And a primary domain owns the account. An add-on domain is, as its name is, it's an add-on to the account. So it has its own folder. If we go back and look here, it has its own. This is the public HTML folder we're looking at for a domain now, and you can see this your add-on domain.com in blue. That is the root folder for that domain. So you would open up that and put everything in there.
Yes, I was answering. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was just reading another question that you were going to say, Kim.
I was saying I had answered no, but Gary got his question in before I got my no out, so I wasn't saying no to Gary.
Oh, I got you. Do you need to have WordPress installed on the root domain? You will. You don't have to when you're uploading your files to begin with, but once you've got to import your XML file, you need to have WordPress there.
But if you're on your main domain where you have this add-on at, that main root domain, you don't have to have WordPress, just your add-on.
Yeah, no, you do not install, well, you will install WordPress on that add-on domain.
On the add-on domain, yes.
Yes. So how do you add on domains? I don't know whether this shows it, but that all has to do with your file manager, or I mean your cPanel. You see right here in the image. It says add-on domains. So you're going to go out and buy a new domain at Name Silo, Namecheap, wherever you like to buy your domains. Then you're going to make sure that the DNS on that registrar, wherever you buy it, or you can buy it at Hostixi or wherever your hosting is. And then you want to make sure that DNS points at the DNS servers for your host. In Hostixi's case, it would be ns1hostixi.com and ns2hostixi.com. Then you come in here to your add-on domains, you'll open that up, and it'll allow you to enter that information, and it will create the folder that you saw down below here and point everything coming to the Hostixi servers. It'll point it to that domain. Okay, so you first look for the public HTML file and click on add-on domain. With respect to what, Michael? Are you talking about when you're trying to add an add-on domain or when you're trying to upload your files?
I think he was saying that when you need to go into the main domain's public HTML and then click on the add-on domain.
If that's the case, yes. So what we've done here, as we see on the screen, we open up the public HTML folder by double-clicking on it, and here we are. We're inside the public HTML folder, and we see our add-on domain right here. Now we double-click on it, and now we can upload our files to that domain, to that add-on domain. Can you please show how to transfer the hybrid campaign files to the root domain? We did that in the last webinar, Grace. It's exactly the same as what we did last week, except instead of sticking it in the public HTML folder, we stick it inside the add-on domain folder. So it's identical to what we did last week. Okay, if you have add-on domain, will Google not think it's a little suspicious with so many files on one site? Why? Google loves content. Google lives for content. And one thing we found in building all these sites with hundreds of thousands of pages, they don't mind. Why do we do it? Because we've got to put up as many pages as we can. Google does not index every page on every site. It just doesn't happen. So we've got to get as many up as we can so that they will get as much of our pages up and visible so that we can get our traffic that we're looking for. So WP needs to be installed in an add-on domain. Let's think of it this way, Gary. An add-on domain is another domain. Every domain that is going to host an OTP site needs WordPress installed once on it. That's it. If you're really, really advanced, you can put more than one, but for 98% of us, we're only going to put one WordPress installation on every OTP domain that we create. We need it. It is the only way to transfer the files to the root domain using FileZilla. Grace, there's many ways to do FTP, many programs out there that you can do it. Some people don't like any of them, so they will use File Manager itself. If you look at what this image is showing here, you can once you've opened up your add-on domain or your public HTML, wherever you're going to be uploading your files, you can click Upload and upload your files. The biggest problem with doing it straight in File Manager from cPanel is that they like to do one file at a time. With your FTP programs, it's grab a directory, throw it over, and it does the directory, the files, everything just keeps going 100 miles an hour. This is a little bit clunkier, but it works. If you were to zip up the folder with all your HTML files in it, then you could zip it up, and then when it gets there, you see right here it says extract. So you highlight that file, click extract, and it'll unzip it all into place for you. So you can use the file manager in cPanel if you want. There are probably 250,000 videos on YouTube showing you how to do that if you want. Or you could use FileZilla, or another favorite is WinSCP. I think that's Cliff's favorite. So there's lots of ways to get your files up there. The FTP programs, once you learn how to use them, it really makes it so much easier and faster to get things done. Any other questions? I thought you need different IP addresses for each domain. I'm in a learning mode, so no. Never excuse yourself for trying to learn something there, Daniel. IPs are important, and let me explain. It's not just any IP. It's what they call a Class C IP. And if you think of what an IP address looks like, and we'll just say it's 100.100.100.100. There's four pieces of, or four numbers strung together with dots between them. Each one of those is Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D. So what you want to do is have hosting accounts, not domains, but hosting accounts that have a different Class C IP, which means that the first set of the first number can be the same. The second number can be the same. The third number is what you want to be different. That's the Class C. And Hosixi has, I believe, 12 Class C servers right now, so they can get you up to 12. Then what we do is we tell you that you can put more than one domain on an account, but it's suggested that you don't put domains from the same traffic network. The reason being is that the search engines, if they get a complaint about a site, they'll look all around that number to see if you are doing several different things the same way, and they could close down all of your sites. If you hosted all 10 websites, domains, your OTP domains for a single traffic network, they could close your whole network down. If you spread it across 10 different hosting accounts that are on different Class C IPs, and they find that, they can only close down 10% of your network. So you still keep going. If you add on your second network, you can reuse the same 10 accounts again. Now, if they find one, they may find a few others that you've done, but it's only closing down 10% of those networks as well. Hopefully that makes some sense to you. How do we know when Google indexes?
Got a lot of that.
You start getting traffic straight through to your site, if that makes sense to you. Indexing. We've been through this for the last year and a half. Kim and I probably hate that word more than any other that we hear. Indexing, I'm going to say it right now. This is me. This is my theory, because it's all only theory. Indexing's only theory. Google lies. You can type in anything you want. I don't care if you do the cite command that everybody likes to do to see if they are indexed. When you do that command, you're only hitting the index of the Google servers that you're on right at that moment. They only have, dozens of them around the world, so every one of those has a separate index. So it really doesn't tell you a whole lot. There have been so many people have done studies over the years, like Moz and so on, and they will go create a page with gibberish words on it, and it never shows as indexed. But if they go do a search for one of those gibberish words, it's amazing how it shows up in Google. So if it's not indexed, how is it showing up? So I think we place too much on this indexing. We hear people talk about indexing and how important it is. It is important. But how do you tell if you're indexed? You really don't know, because they don't want you to know. Google has done everything in their possible means to frustrate the SEO guru. So all we worry about is, are we getting traffic to our site? That is the most important thing whatsoever. We can go look at our AW stats in our cPanel, and we can see that we're getting traffic. And if we look at some of the IPs, we can search for them, even using Google, and it'll tell you it's a Google search bot. But it'll also try and let you know somewhat whether it's a unique visit or not. But frankly, all we're really worried about is what's happening at our target site. There's nothing to worry about ranking an OTP site, because you don't rank sites, you only rank pages. And that's why we build so many of them, so that something sticks to the wall and gets shown once in a while. But to know whether every page in your site's indexed, you won't. It's impossible because Google won't let you know. And so we're kind of beholden to them.
Michael's asking, how do we ensure Google finds and indexes our pages? Well, this is why Click created hybrid, because with the HTML pages interlinking with the WordPress pages and posts, then Google can, or all the search engines can follow those links to our HTML pages. And if you use an XML sitemap in your WordPress, then they'll find that and follow your links.
So the beautiful thing with hybrid too is, with all that interlinking of the pages, it connects up to the HTML pages, across to another HTML page, back down to a WordPress page. This is what the Google bots, or the search bots, come to your website to look for. They start in the root of your domain, and they start following files to see where it goes. You can submit sitemaps, and they know that you got pages here, there, and everywhere. They want to know that those pages are connected to something. So even though you can submit sitemaps, which we don't profess to do, we think that's a bad move, it still doesn't get your pages indexed, because Google's going to come to your site, and their little bots are going to follow all these links all over your site. And with all the interlinking that gets done on our sites, it really allows the search bots to wander all over. And Marty did a really wonderful video, and I don't think it's in the hybrid section, so I hope you guys look in the OTP section. It was on AW stats. Just a quick overview of looking at the AW stats and what it's about. But my goodness, you ought to see how fast those search bots hit your site. When you publish a page on WordPress, it automatically sends it out to a pinging service to let search engines know, hey, there's a new page here. And that sends the little bot scurrying back to your site. Oh, what's new? What's new? Let's go scrape around and see what it is. They told me it was this page. Is there anything else new that's here? And that's why we want on our WordPress site to have lots of scheduled pages and posts to occur, because it's going to keep search bots coming back over and over and over again to see what's new on your site. And in the meanwhile, they may find another link that takes them to a few more pages. So that's how the search engines know they're there. And most of us from the beginning can tell you that when we first started uploading our pages, we'd rush over to AW stats in our cPanel and start watching. And before all our pages would upload with the original OTP or with Devastator when it was around, oh my goodness, you ought to see that all the search bots are already there and we haven't even uploaded all our pages yet. So they seem to find us pretty quick. Do you mean you do not submit to Google Analytics? Nope. Wouldn't use Google Analytics. Analytics, first of all, Google Analytics, well, you're telling Google, here's my site. And although the sites are doing no harm to anything, they won't like the fact that you're using instantaneous redirects going places and so on, and that's why Click's hiding things in JS files and so on. It's just something they don't like. Doesn't mean that it's bad. but they may not like it, and you're just giving them the keys to the castle. Come on in and have a look around. If you're signing up with Webmaster Tools or with Google Analytics, so be careful. It could be a quick way to get your site de-indexed.
Kareem was asking how they track clicks per page or per domain. Well, when in search, when somebody clicks on your page, they're immediately going to go to your affiliate offer or your opt-in or wherever it is you're directing them to. And that's where you can count those clicks. Like look in your affiliate manager area. It'll tell you how many clicks that came in.
I see somebody said, so you do not submit sitemaps? No. Remember, we're doing mass marketing here. This isn't a standard 20-page site, and 20 pages is big by most sites' size. So we're not telling them that we have 500,000 pages on our site. There's no reason to. Submitting a sitemap really doesn't get you indexed any faster in most cases for the large sites. It's just letting the search bots come back and keep crawling. So we would suggest that you don't do it. It's up to you what you'd like to do, but we would suggest not doing it. I'm not sure that you covered this. How many add-on domains for each 060 account? I believe they're unlimited, but you only have so much disk space, so that's what you have to watch out for. To start with your small shared account, it's 10 gigabytes. You can always upgrade the size of the account. I'm sure they'd be happy to take a few extra dollars a month from you. But how many do you want to put on there, and why would you want to put that many? It's easier to just go get yourself if you were going to put on a lot of sites, like I mean a lot, I just go get a reseller's account. But it's all going to be under the same IP. How about putting the sitemap text into the add pages area of the site XML sitemap plugin? You could do. The whole purpose of, or another purpose of the redirect HTML file is that they all have links back to the sitemap.txt. So there's already a link there for the search engines to find. But if you've got the XML sitemap plugin as well, I don't see a reason why you couldn't put each individual sitemap.txt file in.
Yeah, I do that.
Add-on domains, they don't have to be related to anything. You can put any domain on there. You could have one that was about cars, and one that was about health, and one that was about dogs. It's just another domain that you're hosting on the same account. The thing that you should do is remember, when we talk, what the strategy of OTP is all about is creating a traffic network. Traffic network has what we say 10 plus sites, all pointing to a common offer page or target URL. We don't want to have all 10 of those OTP sites on the same hosting account, because if it gets caught, you can do it, and it's a great way to start. You know, if you're trying to pinch your pennies, don't let it stop you. You can go ahead and do it, but if you start to see some movement in those sites and things start to pick up, you want to start moving some of those domains somewhere else. Do you remove the you don't need to remove it. There's a Louis asking, do you remove the pingomatic.com link until most of the XML files are imported? You don't need to remove it. There is a checkbox to discourage search engines, and that's what it does. It ignores the pinging. So you can just check that, and then when you're ready, you can uncheck it. And for those that really like to make sure that their sites or their pages get well pinged, you can add more pinging services to that area as well. If that is something that you want to experiment with. I believe there's a link right on that page inside WordPress that takes you to the WordPress site, and they give you a list that you can add in.
Remember too, there's a Kickstart indexer in your link swarm.
Okay, Thomas is asking about Google Sitemap. Well, there are sitemaps. Google uses sitemaps. I'm not sure what a Google sitemap is. So there's a plugin for creating XML sitemaps that Google can read. So I'm not sure what you're asking there. A sitemap is a sitemap. It could be a text file. It could be an XML file. Everybody thinks everything has to be an XML file today. Google still happily devours text files day in and day out. It's been the standard since the very beginning. Frankly, the way we're using XML files, it's not really going to make a whole lot of difference to the search engines, because the XML files are actually used to add additional information about our pages, and we're not doing that. We're just creating a very slim XML file that just says, here's the page. Any other questions?
Nele has one down here. On a 10 gigabyte site hosted at host 60, how many OTP hybrid campaigns pages can be effectively built in a domain plus an add-on domain combo?
So if you had two domains on one host60 account, how many pages could you get? That's a good question. I've never tried to count. I would never fill the account up to the point that you've got 100% of it full, because it will, just like Windows, when you start squeezing that last 10%, it takes longer for things to occur. So I wouldn't overuse the amount of storage space you've got.
Nath says 5 gigabytes equals 6 times 49,000 pages.
So there's a good rough number for you. Robert's asking, can you cover how to make RSS work with our hybrid WP accounts? Okay, RSS is probably something you're trying to do with WordPress. And if you're setting up RSS for WordPress, it's only going to see the WordPress pages and posts. You would have to have a list of your pages and a specialized RSS, or go to an RSS feed and submit it to them. I don't know if never having spent the time to do it on an HTML site, I wouldn't know what else to do there. Could be something that could be explored. You'd have to have a reason what you want the RSS for, what strategy you're trying to work with it. There are smarter people than me when it comes to RSS, I will admit that. Okay, anyone have any other questions, or are we good for the rest of the night?
I don't see any more.
I guess we're done. All right, well, I'm really happy that you all made it here again tonight. I hope you're finding these webinars useful. Again, I ask, if you've got any particular topics that you would like us to cover in a webinar, please let us know, because we'd really like to make sure that everybody is getting the information that they need when they need it. So if we get a lot of people asking about particular topics, those will be the ones that we choose first. Have a great night, and we shall see everybody in the Discord group and the forums. Talk to you soon.
Right.